Hey, we're gonna keep going.
Welcome to the Nimbus Tattoo Podcast, episode 7. I'm joined here with my two best boys, Mitchell, what's your ad?
My ad is Tattoo Breakfast.
And I'm also joined here by Chris. Chris, what's your ad?
Chris House _tattoo.
And you're here with, once again, the most southern redneck man apprentice inside of the lower metro Atlanta area, Michael, at Oh Crap Michael. Also joined today by our good boys, John and Scott. John and Scott, hello. They're waving.
It really hurts my throat to keep that going that long.
Like Batman, but country.
But country. Now, fellas, we've been out for about a week. There goes Chris, because he's been...
I can't keep this bit up anymore.
It's just really salty.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
It's real salty. Now, what we're talking about this week is we're going to do a little bit of cover-up talk, a little bit of blackout talk. But first, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning.
How about really quick, we explain why you guys have been gone?
That's what we're about to get to. That's the house cleaning portion.
Good.
That boy don't listen.
That's fair.
I can't do it. Chris, I'll let you go.
So we went to New York. Did a guest spot at Soho with Michaela Bodden.
Shout out to Michaela.
New York is the dirtiest, grossest place. I'll probably never go back. It's gotten worse in the last 10 months I went. I had fun with Michaela. I had fun with Jason. The tattoo portion of it was totally fine. It was good. My clients were really, really nice. They both sat well. I got to do Lady Sonate and Joey Wheeler. So that part was great. But yeah, New York is like the grossest place
It was so
on earth.
gross.
Like the literal smell of hot garbage.
Piss. A lot of piss.
Yeah, my girlfriend has stopped smoking cigarettes. So she hasn't smoked in like almost a year. And just from walking around the city, she said that she felt like she was having like nicotine like withdrawal symptoms again, just from like the air, which is pretty intense. The air quality was just abysmal. We had a very crazy experience on the subway. We got lost. We ended up in Queens. That was a bad time.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that was a whole ordeal. Anyway, to say all that happened, we got COVID.
We got it.
We got like the super Omicron plus variant.
Omicron Prime.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe.
So yeah, so we downloaded that to the old 5G chip and got real fucked up. So
We were all staggered about 4 days behind each other.
yeah, so you could kind of see your future.
It was rough.
You know what I mean? And your past at the same time. At least I could, because I was in the middle.
Yeah, so I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't look fun. And then it happened to Chris. I was like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
this really doesn't look fun. And then it was me, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, I actually got sick first.
this ain't
And
good.
yeah, it hit her real fucking bad. It was not good.
It was rough. I wouldn't recommend getting COVID.
Yeah. If you can, avoid it. There seem to be ways to avoid it.
We just goofed.
We did goof.
I blame the subway.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to eat it fresh. Sometimes you end up riding it nasty. And we were
We wrote it down.
we wrote it. We wrote it, dude.
That sounds like a bumper sticker.
What,
Probably
Subway, eat it fresh or ride it nasty?
Make some merch with that.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Tattoo Breakfast, right at the bottom.
But yeah,
Don't
it was
steal my idea.
it was bad.
I'm just kidding.
Asshole. That's on.
It was a bad time.
Yeah.
We got COVID. We're really sick. So I had to like postpone like a week's worth of appointments. Luckily, everything kind of worked out. It was fine. But yeah, now we're back. We got it. So Ashley got it. I got it. Michael got it. Our personal trainer got it.
Shout out Brett. He got it.
We had a lot of like really crazy symptoms for anyone who hasn't gotten COVID. The normal things you get like fever, headache, runny nose, congestion. The intense amount of pressure that we had from sinuses.
That was the worst part.
That made my gums bleed.
Yep.
That was a weird one that also happened to my girlfriend. That happened. I felt like I had like a brick straight across my face that was just like constant pressure for like 5 days. That was bad.
Couldn't smell.
Couldn't smell.
Couldn't taste.
Yeah, I lost taste. I only lost my taste for like a day.
Mine was gone for like 3. And man, you don't know how much you just eat because something tastes good until you can't taste it.
Dude, my appetite was like completely gone for like a week. I lost like 8 pounds. I got really winded. I started taking a lot of naps. That part was pretty sick, I will say. The COVID sleep, super good sleep.
That shit do hit real good. You get a good 2 p.m. nap. Yeah. Ooh, wee.
That was good. But yeah, so what's funny is I grew my hair out really long at the beginning of the pandemic, like most people did. And then when I got COVID, it started off as a joke between me and my girlfriend. It's like, well, I grew my hair out because of the pandemic. I got COVID now. So it's a good 2.5 year run. So I decided to chop my hair off to commemorate me getting COVID.
Shouts out. I did it. The COVID is still in my hair.
Yeah, you got it now.
Yep.
So that's where we were. That's why we didn't know a podcast.
That's why I know interesting Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I got a lot of B-roll in New York.
Yeah.
I'll post that probably periodically. Got a lot of funny moments. But
yeah, we have a lot of stuff to talk about though. So we do have a couple of like really funny stories from going to New York, which we don't have to tell today.
we will have to hold them because they are long.
They're very long. So if you guys want to hear the New York stories, we can tell them next week if you guys are interested in them. We'll let you vote on them.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I'll put up a poll after this episode goes up.
Yeah. So the ones to vote for would be breakdancing on the subway.
Yep.
Talon
Man.
Yeah, we'll call him Talon Man, and then we'll call the other guy Punchy.
Punchy. Yeah.
So you can vote on those 3 stories, and we'll tell y'all one of them. That's pretty good.
We'll see what happens.
If we told you all of them, it would be like an hour.
It'd be a whole episode.
But other than that, I don't know if you can see her in the shot, but my other cat Sprunkles has decided to make an appearance.
Nope. Is she blocked?
So
Move the chair. Hold on, we're moving the chair. Audio listeners, I'm moving the chair slightly to the other side. Can you see it?
Can you see her? Kinda.
Do I need to
Okay.
take the whole chair down?
It's okay. Well,
I will assassinate that chair soon as you.
We'll show her at another point. I'll just like pick her up later or something. Yeah. But so yeah, it was a whole thing. But honestly, I'm just super glad to be home and back at the shop. It's kind of funny because like we got back and we're having some mild not construction done at the shop. Just
That's a key point, not construction.
Not construction. We're like renovating one of the rooms in the shop to be able to add more space, and I think Mitchell is going to take that area.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be cool.
Yeah, so we're just adding more stations, and yeah, so that way it'll be a little more comfortable whenever we have some guest artists. Yeah, I'll meet this Brian.
Dude, throw down.
Yeah, it's been like the weirdest couple of weeks because I actually didn't go to New York. I had some other stuff going on, so I stayed here, and they were gone for that. And then you guys got back and everybody was sick. So I didn't see you guys for like another week after that as well. So it was like 2 full weeks of just being at the shop alone, which sounds cool, but it is not. It's kind of awkward.
Did a lot of firsts over those 2 weeks. I did my first flight.
Yeah.
My first Uber ride. My first time getting food poisoning in New York City.
Which the Uber I was in a Tesla.
That was kind of sick. The dude, shout out to the dude who Ubered us from New Jersey. That guy was awesome.
He was awesome.
Oh man, he was so great. My man put the car on auto drive and then fully turned around and started talking to us, and I was like, oh, this is fucking sick.
It was tight.
Shout out to him. Got my first food poisoning in New York City. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Saw my first radioactive water. Because they were, oh my God. So we're walking down the street. I looked down because it just rained. Mm-hmm. The water on the ground was lime green, like radioactively bright green. Mm-hmm. Across the street, radioactively bright red.
That's how they make the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's that water.
You were watching the origin story.
Yeah, but that was a lot of firsts.
That's kind of sad because we didn't see any rats.
No rats. I did not see one rat. Everybody's like, you got to see the rats, dude. They're crazy.
I've been in New York twice. Rode the subway. It was down there for like 3 hours.
I saw a man piss out of a
rat.
subway car, but I did not see a rat.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things on that subway.
Yeah, we did. Make sure you vote next week.
Goddamn.
Come
Meow.
on, start already.
Yeah.
Well, you want to get into the questions then?
Yeah, dude. So we're gonna talk about cover-ups, blackouts, blastovers. We're gonna talk about the whole gambit.
Yeah, we had a lot. Oh, real quick before we get into it, I tattooed a tattooer the other day. Her name is Nicole.
Inception.
She was very nice. I did a rize on her from Tokyo Ghoul, and she, meow, there you are. And she is an avid viewer of the podcast, and she actually said something really nice that I want to share with everybody. She said that she's followed a lot of anime tattooers over the last few years, and she's really liked my work. But the reason why she wanted to get tattooed by me specifically was because she watched the podcast, and she said that from watching it, she felt very comfortable, and she felt like not intimidated to like fly some or like drive somewhere that she didn't know to get tattooed by someone that she'd never met. And she said that she felt really good because she knew she could ask questions about tattooing, and she knew that like potatoes. And sorry. And she just kind of said that like through watching, she felt very confident that like she could ask me things and I wouldn't like scold her for it. So that was good. She knew a lot about the shop. She knew a lot about us all personally. And she made the comment. She was like, you know, like, I don't want to sound like a crazy stalker for knowing all of this stuff. And I told her it was good that she did, because that's like why we do this. And so I don't know. I felt good because the whole mission about doing the podcast in general was to make people feel less intimidated about getting tattooed. And, you know, if you're going to travel somewhere and get tattooed by someone who's a stranger, to have like a degree of familiarity and to, you know, be able to educate other tattooers. So I think it's a pretty solid example that like it's working.
Well, you know, I was actually talking to somebody about it like right before I got here. Like I love like just talking with you guys and stuff like that. So it's really easy. It's really easy to actually just sit down and like have a conversation about stuff. So like we're just doing it for fun, you know, or that's how it started. But the number of people I've had that have told me like, yeah, I wanted to book an appointment because I like watched it or listened to it, and you guys seem like you're pretty nice or whatever. You know, isn't like, that's not like an infrequent conversation that I have with people, which is really cool, you know? Even if that's just sort of a byproduct of us like kind of hanging out and doing this.
Shouts out to the Nimbronies, man.
Yeah, dude.
Y'all are some real ones. Shouts out to Liz. To correct the record, last time we said that Liz did not like getting called out. She was adamant that she does, so shout out to Liz. Make sure you are getting the fight in the Lich King. Make sure you're doing that. It's the only WoW thing that I know.
That's like got to be way back there.
Make sure you fight him. Make sure you win the game. Look at that cat, dude. That is a sweet cat. Audio listeners, Chris is holding
Can you
Sprunkles.
see her, John?
Oh, yeah.
Holding her. She looks slightly concerned. Ooh, big kiss. Ooh. Oh, she's happy.
Chris is like
Starscream.
Oh, great.
He's
Gotta
Starscream.
be diligent.
Starscream just drank some of Mitch's milkshake.
It's all good.
Oh man.
So let's hit those.
Let's hit some questions, dude. Once again, I put up a thing that was like questions about cover-ups, blackouts, blastovers, etc.
Mhm.
We're gonna kind of go through all of those. Starting with, I'm gonna shout out one person. Shout out good old Billy for asking a question,
Okay.
dude.
Sweet Belford.
Shout out to good old Billiam. Sweet guy. Love you, Billy. Billy, friend of the shop. Billy asked, is it smart to get a session or two of laser before you try to cover something up?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Absolutely. It's not going to hurt. That's the big thing. If you get something lasered, it is not going to make our job more difficult. The only thing it might do, if you're trying to get something covered up in a hurry, whenever you get something lasered, it takes about 6 weeks to fully show the results of it. Because what happens, I guess for if you don't know the way laser removal works, it's high concentrated lasers that are shot at the pigment to break it up. And there's different lasers for different pigmentations. Like there's one for black, specifically. There's one for like warm tones. There's ones for like blues specifically, and it focuses on it, and it basically breaks up the ink particles that are underneath your skin, and it kind of like makes your body realize that this is a foreign substance again. And what happens is it starts to break it down compositionally, and then you reabsorb it, and you end up having it filter through your kidneys, and you end up peeing out the pigment. So you're not going to actually see. It's not like your piss is going to be blue or something.
I specifically only want to get laser for that reason.
But it takes roughly 6 to 8 weeks to like see the full results from like a single laser session. But sometimes when you get lasered, your butt, like if you have like really sensitive skin, like your skin can welt, it can blister. Like sometimes they'll give you like a small needle that's been packaged, and for you to like pop the blisters and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get something done in a hurry, or if like let's say you have an upcoming appointment, I would not get laser removal done like 2 months before the appointment.
Have you ever had laser removal?
Yeah.
Ever? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have.
Shit's expensive.
It is, but like you don't. So like, does it help to have like a session or two? Yes, absolutely. But don't get lasered like 2 months before the session, because your skin could still be irritated or inflamed. And on top of that, your body's already like noticing that area as being like, because of the laser, like as it being foreign. So if you get tattooed on top of it, there might be a chance that like that area in particular that you hit could fade faster, because your body's trying to like get rid of it.
It like could affect the healing process.
Yeah.
I would like to say, like, just as like a quick input on that, you should always talk to the person that is going to do your tattoo first, because it's, well, Chris is 100% right. Like, it, as far as I know, it's not gonna like hurt anything. Like you said, unless you do it like right before you're planning on
I
getting
got
tattooed.
lasered yesterday, bro.
Yeah. But if you talk to somebody, like, depending on what it is, it may be like, all right, well, yeah, you don't have to do anything. We can just do the cover up if like what you're wanting is like appropriate for what it's going over. But if you talk to somebody and they tell you like, I think it's in your best interest to do that, then like at least you have some direction or like something, you know. Just find someone to talk to, you know.
Yeah, because everyone really is different. I know some people who prefer you to just not get it lasered. Like, if they agree to do it, then they just know what's best. Because honestly, some people, when they do like cover-ups, they like to use the pigment that's already there as texture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people who do that all the time. Because to them, it's like, let's say you're doing black and gray, and you have a black and gray tattoo under it. They might just, if you're doing something like realistic, they might just end up using that as like a mid-gray tone underneath it, and it's like less work for them technically. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really depends on what you're doing.
So really quick, I actually want to say something, because it probably would have been good to start this way. Here's like some general information about cover-ups that I would like to kind of just like say.
Starscream's hair all over.
Just like general information, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know that I think like it's easy to like assume you might know or you might think. Mm-hmm. And while I want to say this stuff is not like it depends on what you're wanting done. It depends on the tattoo that you have, like how faded it is, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that this is always the case every single time, but in general, like 90% of the time, like the way that tattoos work is they're basically like transparent. So whatever you do over an existing tattoo has to be darker than what is underneath, or you're going to be able to see it. Okay? So if you are wanting a cover up and you have a tattoo right now and you're like, I need to get this covered, unless whatever you get done is darker than what is there, you're not really gonna be covering it. You'll still be able to see it, which is frustrating, because I personally, like, I've been doing a lot of like reworks and stuff lately, and like I've done a couple cover-ups recently, and like I've seen people with stuff that they've tried to get covered up, and like they'll have like a bad perception of something where they'll be like, yeah, I want to get like a flower over the top of this like script, like I just want like a red flower. And I'm not saying that'll never work. Like, sometimes there's ways of doing that, but you have to be very creative and very good about like figuring out where your black is going to go and like how to shade something if you're going to do that. It has to be very specific. And I've seen a lot of people that just get someone that's like some guy at a shop that's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just crank it. I'll just throw a red rose right on top of that thing, and
That flower's gonna cover that right up.
I've been able to see stuff straight through a tattoo, and that is what we don't want you to do, which is why we want to talk about this stuff. We want to make sure, like, if you're thinking about getting a cover up, like, this is information, like, for me anyway, I would like for you to know after listening to this.
Unless aesthetically you're going for, like, I want to be able to see this thing through
But
this thing.
but that is considered a blast over.
Yeah,
That is a completely different thing. So yeah, Mitch is right. Tattoos are transparent in your skin, so you got to kind of think about it like you have like the fatty tissue that you have, then you have the tattoo, and then you have the top layer of skin that grows on top, right? So whatever we put on top is just sitting directly on top of like what's already there. Covering something up doesn't make it magically go away. Like, for example, I have a lot of cover-ups on me. Those original tattoos I had, I still technically have.
Yep.
There's just now pigment on top of it. It's layered.
And what I mean by like transparent too is also like if Chris had like he's got a black X on his hand, right? I want you to imagine if you put that on a piece of paper and you had that black X, if you took a yellow like marker or something and you tried to draw a yellow line across that X and it's on a piece of paper, it kind of works in a similar way. Like you won't be able, like the yellow is not going to go bop right over the top of it like it's like a Procreate or something. That just isn't how tattoos work. And I think some people sometimes have the perception that that's how it is because of the tissue layer thing that Chris was talking about.
Yeah.
And that isn't really how it works.
No. It's now with that being said, you don't have to necessarily get something that's like solid black to cover something up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can do something colorful, but it also depends on what you pre-existingly have. Now, my rule about cover-ups is that I will only agree to do one if I know it will be a successful cover-up. Now, a successful cover-up to me means that I'm either capable of covering the areas completely and flawlessly that I need to, or I can do a combination of distracting from something, like camouflaging it, and covering it up.
Yeah, like a not. Sorry, I mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're okay. It's just because there's a difference. You can distract and camouflage something, and by that I mean, like, let's say you have like a main subject matter, and in the background of it, some of the old tattoo is showing, but you turn it into like texture or like, it's like you're not necessarily getting rid of it, but you're not gonna look at it and be like, that is a cover up. Do you know what I mean? Like there are ways of integrating things into designs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like an example of like a not successful cover up, for example, is like imagine that you have some small script like on your forearm and you're like want to get it covered up, and you're like, I want this like tiny flower, right? And so somebody does a tiny flower and then does a wildly disproportionate giant black leaf over the thing that you have. Technically,
It now has a drop
it's
shot.
covered.
Yeah.
And technically, you could be like, well, that's that's a tattoo, but it, like you saying, you don't want to distract. Like you don't want something that's gonna like, it's gonna be very obvious that that's what it was intended to do. You want it to look like the original thing was what you were trying to get. Like if Chris does an anime character and it's a cover up, like there have been so many times he'll do a cover up and I'll look at it like, oh, it's tight, dude. And he's like, oh yeah, there was like a dragon under this. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like I didn't know, you know.
Well, for example, like I have a guy who really, like I've tattooed him before, and he actually I hope I'm not mixing people up, but I believe he has the Ultra Instinct Goku I did not that long ago. It was on his thigh.
I think you're thinking of the right guy, but I
think-
could be wrong.
So that guy has a half sleeve, and it was of a black and gray Naruto tattoo prior to him like really knowing about anime tattoos to the extent that he does now. And like now, you know, like him and his brother get tattooed by like me and Russell and like other people. So like they're like both fully in the know.
He's just vibing.
Sorry, Sprinkles is digging. Anyways, and he really, really wants me to cover it. And what I told him was I will cover it once it's at a point where it's lightened enough to where I feel confident. And so, like, this is what I tell people to do. And I have a couple of people in my schedule currently who I have this standing arrangement with. I've told these people to get things lasered and get them lasered multiple times. About 6 weeks or so after they get lasered, send me a photo of it. And I think his appointment is in like October or something. And what we do is we keep each other up to date on how the laser sessions are going and things like that. And we have a backup plan. So it's like, you want to get this half sleeve area covered up, right? However, if what you are wanting, I am not able to do in this area, then you have to pick a backup area on your body. So that way, if that day comes and that area is not lightened, I don't have to reschedule you. You can still get tattooed. We will just postpone doing the cover up. So you need to be lenient with people who are lenient with you.
Yeah.
Right? If you find someone you really want to get tattooed by and they agree that they will do a cover up for you, but they have certain guidelines that you have to follow, if you want to get tattooed by that person, then they have those guidelines and protocols for a reason. Again, I know some tattooers who will just do it immediately, and they're very, very good. But they also do a very different style than I do. For example, like I see like Brandon Herrera do cover-ups all the time.
Yep.
And that shit, they're like not lasered in this line and stuff. But his shit is like super heavy black, high texture.
Texture is insane.
Yeah,
And-
that's crazy.
And it's really fucking good. But like, you know, he's not using flesh tones. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not doing like straight on character portraits. Do you know what I mean? And like if there's even the faintest amount of like an old line through a face, like it's gonna destroy the portrait. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So like for me personally, I have to know that either like you are willing to be patient enough to work with me and like get the laser work done and like wait the appropriate amount of time and have a backup, or you're gonna pick a character that I know I can just straight cover it with. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, when it comes to cover-ups, here's the thing. Here's a very, 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 very important thing. 2 rules. You cannot change your idea to a cover-up last minute.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
100%.
We design cover-ups specifically to cover that tattoo. Like, for example, you can't be like, oh, I scheduled with Chris to do a Kaneki. Well, I just decided I want this tattoo on my arm covered up, so I'm just going to tell him I want the Kaneki to go over it. That ain't how that shit works.
Nope.
First off. Second off, do not book an appointment knowing full well you want to cover something up and omit that information. That is also shady.
Yeah.
Be transparent. We can probably figure it out most of the time. But you might have to wait a while. You might have to get lasered. You might have to do that kind of thing. But if you're just going to get tattooed by somebody and you're asking if they can do a cover-up, the honest answer is that not everyone can do them. Like, not everyone who says that they can cover something can cover a tattoo. And if you're looking into people, ask them if they even do cover-ups. Some people don't.
Yep.
I know artists who have never done cover-ups. I know artists who refuse to do them. I know artists that used to and hate it and they just won't do it. Look for examples of cover-ups. Ask the artist. Ask them to show you the cover-ups.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a really good idea.
And if they're offended, then don't get tattooed by them. Like, if you can't prove something, then you shouldn't get the job. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have the resume.
If you don't have a before and after, show me something here.
Yeah, like if you are not qualified to do the job, then you are not the person who should do the job. That's not to say you're not a good tattooer. I know tattooers who are fantastic, but they suck at cover-ups. It's an entirely separate skill set. It's almost like its own kind of like niche thing if you're really good at it.
Yeah.
Because I also know tattooers who only do cover-ups. You know what I mean? Because there's a market for that. It's like not everyone can do that. We had a tattooer message us and specifically say, you need to tell people that not everyone is capable of doing it because I cannot do it. That's a tattooer who is like, please tell people not everyone should do these.
Yeah.
Like,
That's honestly really cool. I don't know who messaged you that, but that's good that you're like willing to say that. You know what I mean? If you're like, that's just not on my skill set, like it's not something I'm interested in.
yeah.
Like, that's fine. That's actually great.
Yeah.
You know, that you're
You
just gonna
should
say
know
that.
your limitations. You
Yeah.
should know like where to draw the line. Because to me, I respect that person because I know they're not just going to do something for the paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, get tattooed by people like that. Don't get tattooed by the dude who'll just like do anything for any reason because it's my job.
That's money.
Like, I understand that there's a time and a place for every kind of tattooer. I understand that not everything is a 6-month wait. Not everything is a year-long wait. I fully recognize that. But if you're going to get tattooed by someone who doesn't have a waiting list, or if you're going to get tattooed by somebody who's not like well-known or something, and you're just like going to a shop and doing something, at least get somebody who gives a fuck about their job.
Yeah.
Get tattooed by the person who will tell you no and tell you the better way to do it, or the way that they can do it. You know what I mean?
That was something I learned like really early in my apprenticeship. Like when you're first learning to tattoo, like you'll be like an apprentice for like a month and someone will ask you for something like crazy. And it's like, dude, I can't do that, you know? But like, I remember working at like the shop we were at before. I have people come in and be like, well, I want this thing. And be like, well, I can't do that, but I can do like this, you know? And like, usually it'd be like, yeah, all right, it's cool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was a good learning experience because it's important to know what you can or can't do. And like the more you tattoo and stuff, and the more like you were talking about the artist that I wanted to ask you questions and stuff. Like if you have that attitude, like you're always gonna get better and you're gonna learn new stuff. Like I mean, I'm still very new at tattooing, but from the stuff that I've learned in the last year is like insane. Like how much stuff I've learned in like a year, and I'm still learning stuff right now. And Chris is still learning stuff right now. I see him ask questions. Like for those of you that ask Chris for advice. Whenever we have guest artists and stuff, a lot of the time Chris will be like, yeah, like, how do you do that? What are you using? Like, what do you think about this? And I've seen him learn from that. And as long as you do that, you'll keep getting better, you know? So, anyway.
Did you want to get into the questions, the specifics?
Not everyone can do it, man.
Yeah, there's no shame in that.
There ain't no shame in that game.
I respect anybody more if they can just transparently tell you, I can't do that.
It's better to do that than you try to run a cover up on somebody and you can see straight through it.
That's the worst thing.
Ain't nothing worse than doing a cover up of a cover up, and your name is in the pocket of people who contributed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be the guy who fucked up the cover up of the cover up?
No. No, never.
Because guess what?
My man Spider covered up this thing by my man Squiggy. I'm
tell you
blasting
that-
over Squiggy right now.
I'm gonna tell you this too. This is important too. As a tattooer, just remember, someone will always talk about a bad tattoo faster than they talk about a good tattoo.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
So if
100%.
you're the dude who did the fucked up cover up, they're gonna talk about that way before they talk about it.
And they're going to talk about it longer. It's going to be like, man, Chris really did this good. Man, did you see that fucking cover up Chris did, though? 20 years ago? That shit was rough.
You don't want to be that guy.
You'll be that guy.
Say no, bro. Just say no.
Just
It's-
like drugs, just say no.
It's that question.
That was a good question. Thanks, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Should we use numbing cream before a this person specifically said a blackout session?
Yeah, you can. Let me tell you this about numbing cream. I've worked with a lot of people before. I'm not going to name names. I know some people genuinely do not like the skin texture that comes with numbing cream
Mm-hmm.
because it does inherently change the texture of your skin. It does make it tackier and it does make it more taut, right? It makes it more rubbery almost to a certain degree. With that being said, I personally don't give a shit. It does not affect my process in tattooing whatsoever. You should ask your artist, because I know people, and I've been tattooed by people before who said, I will not tattoo you if you use it.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine out of respect for that person. I did not do it. It's whatever. I also hate getting tattooed. I will use it on myself. I don't care. I'm not beyond it. I'm not above it. That shit hurt.
It do be doing.
But if you're going to do it, let me clue you in on the way to do it.
Bro, this is the best shit, man.
So everyone seems to think that they have their own special way of applying it or whatever. Like, let me tell you the fucking truth. About 2 hours before you know you were going to be physically tattooed, not walking into the building, not doing your paperwork, not driving over. 2 hours before you know you are going to get stabbed with a needle. Sorry, potatoes. Get a super hot shower. Super hot. Whatever area you are getting tattooed. Let's just, for the sake of this, say it's your ribs. Because you're an idiot. You're a moron. You've made the dumbest decision of your life. And you're going to get your ribs done. And the day of, it has set in that you're a goddamn fool. And you have bought the numbing cream. And you decide you're going to try to take some sweet tears from your future self and put them back in your face.
It ain't gonna fix all of them. But
And
damn,
you've
it's gonna fix
decided
some.
you're going to do this. And then you remembered that Chris House told you exactly the way to put on numbing cream. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to get a hot shower. You're going to get out of the shower. You're going to slap the fuck out of your side until it is red.
Yep.
When it is red, you're going to take a glove. You're going to put a thick layer of the numbing cream on it. And then you're going to wrap that area in cellophane. You're going to do that exactly 2 hours before your appointment. Now, do you think I'm joking about slapping yourself?
No, you need to slap the absolute piss out of that thing.
Here's what's going to happen. When you hit yourself like that, you're going to irritate your skin. It is going to open up your pores because of how hot your skin is. The numbing cream will actually soak into your skin. And then you're going to wrap it in cellophane to where it has nowhere else to go but inside of your pores. And that is how you actually numb your skin before a tattoo. That is what you do. Prior to actually getting tattooed, you tell the artist you have it on and that they should wipe it off with like high proof alcohol.
And they should be wearing gloves, just for the record.
They should always be wearing gloves. But yeah, you wipe it off with alcohol and then you get tattooed and then that will help you get through the line work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
That
was
gets you
just
through the
thinking.
first part.
It doesn't last that long.
That might get you like an hour and a half into it, maybe if you're super, super lucky. But I'm gonna tell you what, man, that's better than
Better than suffering.
it's an
The
hour
whole
less.
time.
So, but that's how you do it.
Yeah. Make sure you ask your artist before you just decide to use it, because like Chris said, some people will like refuse, especially blackouts and stuff. Like I would way rather somebody do that if it's going to help them sit better, because I mean, for me, it's like you don't get a gold star if you sit through a really painful tattoo and you just like, I mean, I'm not going to be like, wow, you're so cool. I mean, it
Damn,
hurts,
bro, you
man.
tough
Like,
as hell.
yeah, I mean, it's cool if you can do that. Like, great. I'm not trying to like knock on you for that either, I guess. But like, if you can make it easier on yourself, make it easier on yourself.
What I
And-
tell you at the end of Sunday, Mitch?
I don't remember. What'd you say?
I said it hurt.
Oh, it do hurt.
It
Yeah.
hurt.
It does.
Yeah, I was
hurt.
tattooing John on Sunday, and like, it's just if you can make something better for yourself, you should do it. Like, especially something that you know is gonna be painful, like your ribs or like a blackout or something. But you know, everybody's pain tolerance is different, and everybody has different preferences. So.
Look, man, I'm getting tattooed next month.
Chris is,
I'm not saying Chris is going to slap himself in the throat, but he is.
I am. I don't give a fuck. Oh yeah,
well, go ahead.
1,000%.
Hit us with the next
Great question. A lot of laser questions. We hit a lot of lasers. How do you price a cover up?
Everyone's very different. I personally don't charge any more or any less. I just have a flat day rate. If I agree to do it, you're agreeing to my day rate.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the same for me. It doesn't change anything about how long the tattoo takes typically. It's just how I have to like design it basically.
The only thing I would say potentially is generally when I do cover ups, I do prefer to have a second session because sometimes you never really know what may or may not pop through, and I just kind of want to have another session to like make sure I take care of it. And so if it takes 2 days, it takes 2 days. And
yeah, that dark link that I did recently, I thought I was gonna have to hit some of this stuff in the hat again. Like it was a cover up basically. Like, and I used the hat to kind of go over some of it, and like I was like, yeah, I feel like some of it's still gonna be there. So we actually ended up breaking it up into two, and it came back, and like it actually was fine.
That's
But-
sick.
you never know though.
Yeah, I was gonna. I actually remember you telling me like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to like hit some of this. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
It's hard because when you do cover ups or blackouts, good
I
job.
just dropped that on my foot.
When you do cover ups or blackouts, when you go over old tattoos, they do puff up a lot.
Yep.
So like
See that.
I've done cover ups where like when I've done it, like if there's like lettering or something at the end of the session, like the lettering is like super puffed up and raised, and when it's healed, it's gone. It's smooth. Do you know what I mean? Because fun fact, when you do cover ups or blackouts, especially blackouts, when you go on top of the old area, if there's scars or scarification, not scarification, but
If there's scar tissue.
scar tissue from the old tattoo, by actually going over it with like a really big mag, you can actually break it up and make your skin smooth again. It's there's a process that they do in the cosmetic industry where they do like, it's like micro, what's it called?
Oh, you're talking about like derma rolling, where like
Yeah.
you roll the razor thing on your face.
Yeah. So you do that, and it causes your skin to like grow back.
Yep.
And everything. It's actually really similar whenever you tattoo, but like you have to think it's a lot more needles and it's a lot more trauma. So if you get it done by somebody who knows what they're doing and they make it really, really even, you can take a lot of scar tissue that's been formed from old tattoos on your arms or like wherever. I'm just saying arms in general. And you can actually break it up and make it smoother.
That's it.
I used to have more scar tissue on my left arm before I blacked it out. And then now some of those areas are smooth. Some of them aren't. Some of them are still a little rigid, but some of it is.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
perfect science. It's not just gonna magically disappear, but a lot of it does.
Yeah. It's actually kind of interesting.
Here's the next one.
Dude, let's go on to the next one. Let's see. Oh man, there's so many. Obviously both of y'all are still willing to do cover-ups. That was a popular one.
It is. Now, let me say this, okay? I will, under conditions.
Yep.
I will-
seeking them out though.
I will make no kind of attempt to hide the fact that I would prefer not to.
Yeah.
You know, I would prefer to start with a clean slate, and I would prefer to just do it on fresh skin. But I am willing to do it under certain circumstances, but please do not be offended if I say I won't do it.
Yeah.
It is only because if I'm not going to do it unless I know beyond the shadow of a doubt it will be a successful cover-up and it will be a tattoo I can be proud of and you can be proud of. I don't want to make you pay my day rate and then do something subpar on you.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
Yeah. Just waste everybody's time.
Yeah.
And you got hurt for no reason. Thoughts on white ink tattoos over blackouts and any artist that you'd recommend for a blackout?
I guess either. Well, I was gonna say like I had Chris do my blackout recently, even though he doesn't really like. That's not like a thing Chris specializes in. As far as I know, that's the only time we've ever done that, right? Yeah. Only time Chris has ever done it. And I was really happy with how it came out. If you're looking for somebody who does blackouts, like I don't have an artist. You may, but just dude, use Instagram. like you can find so many people that's all they want to do, and they're so good at it. And look at find their work. Like that has stuff like that posted already. I've been looking up a lot of white on black ink tattoos because I think that's probably what I'm gonna want to do with this arm whenever it's, all the way there or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know, man. I think they look cool.
I think they're dope.
A little, not skeptical. I am curious to see how they heal over time.
I can tell you.
Okay, you go right ahead.
Okay, so if you're gonna do white on black, can you do it? The short answer is yes. Should you do it? That depends on you and how much you're willing to get tattooed.
Yeah.
Because it is not a one pass and it's done. It is you are probably going to have that same thing hit 3+ times, to be real with you. While Mitch consumes a chicken sandwich.
I just looked dead in his soul when he took that bite. That was great.
Good.
Audio listeners, Mitch is eating a chicken sandwich. He's putting it back in the bag.
I'm so sorry.
He's self-conscious right now.
I was
Okay.
trying to be quiet.
You can't.
I can't.
So I'm just like trying to be quiet. And he's like in the bag, you know.
He's like, back it up.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
Well, he opens another bag because it's in another bag. It's a bagged sandwich inside of a bag. So, yeah, you do have to go over it several times. In most occasions, you do. And that kind of sucks. And they don't heal particularly bright. It's not really about it looking white. It is about it just looking different.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of imagine, when you have like, so let's say there's a chalkboard, right? And you take a piece of chalk and you draw a design on it. And at first it's like, that is stark white on stark black. Now imagine if you just like blew on the chalk a lot.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets like kind of grainy. It's not as like precise and crisp. Now, if you take that idea where it's like, it's not as sharp, it's a little more like faded, and then you apply that to like just tattoo principles that like once it's healed, it is going to fade more.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what you're getting, right? So you can do it, but over time it will age the same way normal tattoos do. But you can't do it. There's a lot of tattooers who are incredibly skilled at it, like anything else. There's a page called White on Black Tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've actually seen that on my Discover page.
So
recently.
you should follow that page because they like to platform artists who specifically do this kind of stuff. And like anything, we always encourage you to go to the source, go to the person who does it the best.
Yep.
And so I think that's really, really important. There are people who literally specialize in just doing blackouts. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, I did it for Mitch because he's my friend. But it's not what I do. And there are other people who definitely do better.
Yeah, there are people who are like more efficient. Like what you did on him took, I don't know how many hours, but
Like 10 hours.
there's some dude in Germany who's like a pro at it who can do it in like 4.
I watched an interview the other day on like YouTube or something where this guy, he like Chris said, he only does blackouts. Like it started out as like a thing he was just kind of like doing for some people, and like he's like booked months out with just blackouts.
Dude,
Like,
I bet that
every
shit's
day.
satisfying.
Yeah, he said he likes it and stuff, which is interesting to me because it's kind of a different set of like stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're totally right. You know, it's
And now there's a difference, okay? So there's blackouts and then there's black work,
Yes.
right? So much like there's a cover up and there's a blast over. So you have very different things. If you want black work, I have a friend that does it, specifically black work lettering, okay?
Yep.
So, you know, there are people who do black work trad, black work, like,
There's black work
anime,
everything.
yeah.
there's literally everything.
You can throw 2 random art styles together. There's some dude who does it.
Yeah. For example, if you want black work anime, I would tell you to probably get tattooed by Alan Grima.
Yep.
If you want black work lettering, I would tell you to get tattooed by my friend Ray Ray. His Instagram is Ray Ray God. He is actually the one doing my throat next
Shout
month.
out Ray Ray.
So I'm gonna become that person. I'm gonna ascend into this person.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get the vegan V in the dead center of my throat. So
For someone who's ignorant to this,
Yeah.
black work, like, what do you mean exactly?
so that means the only color you use is black, and it's not like black and gray. It is like black is fucking black.
It's like I mean, the only color I typically use whenever I'm doing like an anime tattoo is black, but like
imagine like taking that and you just do like there's like huge fields of it, like Chris's hand, the X that he has. See how much it's just like a solid like. It's not a blackout, but there's so much black involved in it, and like whoever does it has to be really good.
Have you seen my pelvis? Okay, I'll have to show you my pelvis, but it's literally just like this long, this tall, Blackwork lettering. So he's gonna do the center of my throat, and it's gonna be a cover up, but it's also, gonna be Blackwork. I mean, so.
Why don't you talk about what a blastover is?
Oh, go for it. Do you want to? Or
No,
me?
you-
Okay.
I have to take a
So So just so we're like fully like all 100% caught up.
We're hitting all the terms.
On the terminology. Cover up. So we'll go with extremes, right? So like we'll have cover up, which is like the super extreme of just getting rid of a tattoo with another tattoo on this side, and we'll have like blackout, which is just 100% packing the color black over here.
Yeah.
So you have a cover up, which is the goal. You're going to cover up design A with design B. It is what it is.
You are not going to see it.
Yeah,
ideally.
it will be gone. That is perfect case scenario. Then you have a blast over, which that is typically done with like really thick line. Like if you can imagine like double Sharpie thick lines. Okay. And the point is not for you to not see the original. It is, I don't care what shows through.
This is a fucking eagle.
I just want to get this eagle that's the thickest lined thing you've ever seen, almost like a stamp, and it's just the line work dead ass on top.
It's usually like if you have like you were to take like Chris's sleeve that he has right now.
Yeah.
And he's got like this stuff. It's like if you took like a trad like a trad eagle, right? And the lines are like 3 times as thick as you normally do it. It's like simpler than normal.
Stomp it.
Yeah, and there's there's usually not like shading or anything. It's just
it is
lines.
just a outline.
Yeah, and it's right on top of it.
So that's considered a blast over, right? So then you have that. So then you have a blackout, which is just 100%, covered up black. And then I guess if you further down that spectrum, you would have like white on black, which is like Blackwork, which there's another aspect of that I want to talk about. But Blackwork is just heavy use of black. That's not like 100% skin saturation, but the areas that are black, they are just fucking black. Mm-hmm. It's like 100% contrast between like black and skin tone. Like that is literally the distinction, right? Which is really, really cool. I'm like really into that personally. Like I like the aesthetic of it. So that's kind of like the normal spectrum, right? If normal tattooing is here in the middle, you can kind of go to like, we've talked about this before, like you can push anything to an extreme. Mm-hmm. So that's the extreme of like cover-ups. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can literally just go any direction, and like you can go super fucking extreme and just like black out a limb, or you can like just get rid of the tattoo. The things I will say, and like I will just say these things kind of like in like micro information, and if someone wants to expand on it, we can. So for like a cover up, I would say like the general rule of thumb for a cover up is for it to be 100% successful upon all variables. It is going to have to be minimum 2 to 3 times larger than the original tattoo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's general rule of thumb. With doing white on black tattoos, your blackout has to be healed for minimum 6+ months. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because for example, I am eventually going to get more done to my blackout sleeve, but I'm going to do black on black. Okay.
John's like, what the
Which
fuck?
is like an even further extreme of like covering things up, right? So that is the idea that like I've had my blackout sleeve for a few years. It has been weathered. The elements have taken hold. My body has digested part of the ink. It is, if this is like where the black started, it has faded to the natural point where it should be, is like here, right? It's like, it's just been in my skin for a while. Mm-hmm. So I want to do black work on top of it so it's darker. So you kind of have the effect of like matte black on like mid black.
Yeah.
So then when it heals naturally throughout my life, do you know what I mean? Like it will still be darker. And then the pigment that sits on top of this is going to be super dark. So you have black on black. That is also a thing you can do.
Yeah.
Right?
You have a lot of options in terms of like what you can do with tattoos. I think people sometimes get a little. I mean, like blacking something else like very extreme thing to do for sure. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, if you don't like your tattoo, just black it out, bro. I also want to say really quick, and this is a really fast aside. If you're going to black out a limb, okay, that is a very like it's typically a really time intensive thing to do. It's not like you just roll up in the shop, you crank it in one session and you're done. Typically you have to like not always, but sometimes you have to do it more than once. You have to go over areas again. It'll like some areas maybe heal inconsistently, like you like your elbow or something weird like that can happen.
Yeah, my elbow is definitely lighter.
Yeah, and like that's pretty normal. But like I remember, I just remember seeing this person like I know someone that like tattooed them, and I think they just kind of were like, yeah, just like run a blackout, and they made it like 2 hours in, and it's just a black patch is all they got, and it's like they're trying to do their whole leg, and it's one of those things where if you don't really think about it, you're like, well, that's like 20 hours of work or something. You know, like your entire leg. You know, it's like
imagine going over
that
that knee.
Yeah,
and then going over that ditch again.
And it was too painful for like 2 hours in.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too. So like, if you're gonna embark on any form of extreme tattooing, whether that be you just want to get a full sleeve, or you want to get your entire torso, right? There is kind of a clock on it, okay? Because if you get, let's just take your sleeve for example, right? If you get your forearm done, and then you wait 5 years and you get the top of your arm done, and then you wait a year and you get the lower part of your forearm done, like the back of it, it's gonna age really inconsistently. It's not going to look cohesive. And that same principle does apply to blacking shit out.
I feel like that's especially true for blackouts.
Yeah, that's a big one.
There is like no margin for error when it comes to blackout stuff, because if one part of it is less black, everyone knows. Right?
Yeah. You see it.
So if you're going to do it, you need to commit to it and you need to be consistent about it.
Yep.
The only real lag time is once the appendage is complete, you wait 6 months, a year, 2 years before you do anything on top of it. That's your own. That is your. This is my period of time to forget how bad this fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Before you dive back into it, but you can't run a strip for 2 hours on your leg and then come back 6 months later and black out the rest.
Come on, guys, do the rest. It's like, well, you have this square.
Because I'm gonna tell you what, you're gonna just have to go back over it.
Yeah, you gotta do it again.
And like that's not to be like don't do it or something like that. But if you're thinking about doing it, just be aware that it's not just like. I mean, I'm sure most people know that to an extent, but like this person didn't. They're like, I'm just gonna do a blackout. And it's like you got a little 5x5 patch.
It's
on
not
your,
the easiest
calf.
thing to do.
Now, here's what's crazy about this entire thing to me. I have blackout work done. I know Blackwork artists. I don't do it. And I did it on Mitch, but that's just kind of like whatever. I just did it because he's my friend.
That was a homie tattoo.
Yeah. So this is a lot of information that I just know as almost like a bystander of the entire situation.
Yeah, none of us.
Like, I'm sure that if we had an artist sitting here who that's what they did every single day, bro, they would have 20 times the amount of information we have.
Yeah.
And they would probably have more rules about the way they choose to conduct themselves. In the same way that, like, I have rules about the way that I do anime, you know? So just go to someone who does it. If you want to get a blackout, go to someone who does it, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and you may think it's just packing black. Anyone can do it.
Nope.
Funny story. I was naive enough to think that. And I had to get half of my arm completely redone. So I've had one section of my arm blacked out 3 times. My lower forearm 3 times. I've had my lower forearm tattooed 5 times in my life.
Chris is so over getting tattooed.
Yeah, you hear how bitter he is?
Yeah.
Just do it right the first time. Please.
Yeah.
And also, this question does come up. Yes, when it's super hot outside, my left arm is slightly hotter than my right one.
That's a great question. Somebody asked you that the other day. I don't remember where we were.
Black attracts heat.
Yeah, go ahead. There's more, but
There's so much. Would you cover up your own work if a client asked you to?
I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've been in discussion with Chris about doing that for a while, and we decided to go another route. But
Yeah, I would. I don't care.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I'd actually rather, if you were unhappy with something I did, come and talk to me and like see if we can do something different than like. Yeah, 100%. That's
Don't be weird about it.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
they're
It's
tattoos.
your arm or your body or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't own it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I've done tattoos that I hated.
yeah, dude, I got this Chris House tat on my leg from like 9 years ago, and I was sitting there one day. I was like, Chris, you got to get this fucking thing off of me.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll put a fucking eagle on it, bro.
Yeah.
And now I don't even know. I think I'm gonna have Ray just put
Yeah.
a big X over it.
I think that'd be sick. I
That
think
would be cool,
I honestly think for consistency, I think that'd be the coolest shit you could do.
Just put a big ass X.
I'm gonna try to convince him to come do a guest spot.
Shout out Ray, dude.
He's great. He's in Florida, by the way.
us in the comments below, man, if you want Ray to come up here and just annihilate, bro.
He's the best. I'm telling you, if I could get him to come here, I could legitimately have enough people to where he could float for a month.
Yeah.
I know that many people.
There's so many people who are like, we'll bring it up, we'll pull up his Instagram, and they're like, "Fuck, dude, this is sick."
I tell-
I want to get tattooed.
I want to
Ray,
get.
actually.
I have 4 things that I'm like, if Ray came here, I'd be like, bro, just run the
the
fucking
last
gambit
time
on me.
the last time I saw him, he covered up my hand at like 8 o'clock at night. I went to sleep. I woke up, and then he did my entire pelvis like 8 hours later. When he is around, I hate getting tattooed. I get tattooed by him as much as I possibly can. I cannot say enough good things about him as a human being and a tattooer. He's a fantastic person. I love Ray.
Love you, Ray.
Sweet Ray.
Hit us with the next question.
Dude, we're dwindling down. We're almost out, man.
Let's get it. We've been going for probably
We've been
a while.
going, dude.
Scott's dead.
Actually, I think we did all of them except one was like a.
Oh, I
request
forgot
off
to say,
the
when we were in New
Mafia.
York, remember how you had your Lion King shirt?
Yeah.
They're doing the exact Lion King play with the same logo in Times Square, and I saw it and I thought of you.
That's really sweet.
It's a cool logo.
Yeah.
That was actually all the questions.
Really?
Yeah, so a lot of them were about lasers. A lot of them were about numbing cream.
Oh.
Like repeat questions and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
kind of like accidentally
We just
them
hit
all.
it.
Well, think about what you want to get before you get it tattooed. Research people's work. Find someone that does what you want to get done. If that's a cover up or otherwise,
Yep.
anytime. And ask questions. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Be transparent. Ask questions.
Yeah. If somebody says that they can't do something or they don't feel comfortable, don't push it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If something is done well, it is super hard to cover up, just FYI. I've asked 6 people to cover something up,
Yeah.
and every person has turned it down.
Nothing is worse than a bad tattoo that is really well put in.
Lasers struggle with blue.
Oh, yeah. That is a fun fact.
That's a fun fact. All the shit I want to get lasered off or covered up is fucking blue.
Black is the easiest color to come out. Blue is the hardest color to come out.
Yep.
There are also different intensities and strengths to lasers. So you can actually get something lasered faster, but it is much more painful.
I hit up a laser clinic like a couple months ago. If you guys know a good laser clinic, let your boy know. Because this place told me that to laser off 2 tattoos, each tattoo would take 10 sessions. Each session was $1,000.
That is excessive.
And they could not guarantee that the blue would come out.
I have been lasered, for the record. It is awful.
I've heard it's worse than getting a tattoo,
It is.
and it smells bad.
I have a deviated septum. I cannot.
I've heard that it like you smell like the burning.
I've been with people who can smell, and they did say that it did kind of have a reminiscent smell of like burning flesh.
Because it is
Not to like an extreme or anything, but it does suck. The first time I got hit with it, I was like laughing and joking. It's like, oh, whatever, because like I'm pretty good about pain and everything. And they hit me with it, and I literally went, hold on.
And it's loud. It's also very loud.
Literally, because like they make you wear the goggles and shit, and it's all a goof or whatever, and they're like, yeah, if you need a second, just let us know. And they're like, nah. And I was like, hold on.
They have the little vacuum. They have the little vacuum ready, and Chris is like, hold up now, before you start hoovering me, dude.
It's not a vacuum.
What is
They're
it?
blowing cold air.
Oh my god.
So what they do is
they gotta cool you
they
down.
blow cold air on you, like at the same time that they hit it to like cool your skin. Otherwise, it would get like really.
Nah,
cold.
dude, melt that fucking thing off of me, dude.
No, dude, I'm telling you, like literally, I was like, it's all fun and games.
Bro, it'll be half my fucking leg. I've just been here screaming.
And I was like, no.
Oh,
We're not doing
God.
this. It was a whole ass thing, bro. So it sucks. God, it was so bad. I would rather get shit blacked out than get lasered. For the record. Personally. I know people have gotten lasered and they're totally fine.
Well,
dude, we all learned something. Mitch, do you want to call out a state?
well, I don't know. You guys were talking all this crap about New York earlier, so
Yeah,
I might
fuck
as well
New York.
say
Man, fuck New York, man. That place is wild.
It gave me COVID.
Man, I had some good New York moments. I can't wait to tell the Nimbronis about them.
You know what? By proximity, Connecticut too. That's where I'm from.
Man, fuck Connecticut.
Hey, you get one.
That's
You get-
right. No, we usually do like 2. I
Yeah,
think.
sometimes we get two. We gotta
Yeah.
think of a celebrity. Who's a celebrity we can yell at this week?
I don't know.
Who's someone that's goofed up here? Andrew Tate. Come on the fucking show, bro. I'll show you how to drink water.
I don't.
My man said he didn't know how to drink water.
I don't even understand why he's a functional person.
Is that what we're gonna go with? Anybody else have a
I mean, he's a moron, so sure.
Yeah, that works. That's fine.
cool? So Connecticut, the state of New York.
I mean, I generally frown upon anyone who human traffics women. So
That's pretty shitty.
the general rule, you know.
I mean, you should.
Seems fair.
Yeah, you traffic women, like, you know,
You probably
you can kind of go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's a low bar.
He's just also an asshat.
Hey, ended on a
for
positive
sure.
note for Brett.
Positive note.
Chris looks good with that haircut.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
your
thank you.
haircut.
Remember when Chris had long hair?
Yeah.
I do.
The
It's
amount of
gone
people
now.
that DM'd me when I said I was going to cut my hair off and who literally sent me crying emojis. Thank you. I don't know how to take it. Sorry I cut it off.
It looks good.
But
For everybody on my side of the world, the Sonic Sheets come back on tomorrow. So
Hey.
fuck y'all. If you don't know the saga of the Sonic Sheets, come over to Instagram.com/OhCrapMichael. Man, we have a lot of indecisive people about these sheets,
yeah,
but they're coming back.
Nice.
Shouts out to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Proud of
They're
you for standing your
fantastic.
ground. That's good.
They're comfy sheets, dude.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to us. As always, if you are, please consider following everybody here. And
Especially Scott.
yeah, if you ever have any questions about tattooing, getting tattooed, any of that stuff, let us know.
Yeah, we're here for you.
Yep.
Call the shop.
please don't. I hate
Only on
answering the
Saturdays
phone.
and Sundays when I can answer the phone.
I've almost hit the point when people call and I'm like, what do you want?
Chris says, "What? I need to talk about it." No, click.
Yeah, someone called earlier and I had to hand the phone to Mitch and I almost just hung up on them.
Sorry to that person.
No, they were being rude.
We don't do piercings. If you call the shop, I'll save you the phone call. We don't do piercings. We don't do walk-ins.
I will lock the door.
All right.
All right,
Love y'all, Nimbronis.
bye.